Hey, what's going on, guys? Battle Nations Emperor here, back today with another video. And today, guys, we have a great episode. We're going to be discussing potential ways free nanopods in Battle Nations could return. So for anybody unaware, in the OG Battle Nations, you could purchase nanopods just like you can right now, but then there was another option. You could get free nanopods. It was an entire tab in old Battle Nations, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It was getting nanopods for free without having to spend any money, and it was great. As a kid who, of course, didn't have disposable income, it was fantastical. It was amazing. And even nowadays, of course, the world is pretty rough right now. A lot of us have a lot of different things to spend money on, and unfortunately, our beloved mobile game from 2011 isn't one of them. So this concept of free nanopods is very interesting and very exciting to a lot of people. So I just wanted to make a video kind of cataloging what did exist back in the day, how they did give away free nanopods and how they could potentially do it again and what other ways they could do. So first things first, let's go over the very brief history of this thing. So of course, nanopods have been in the game forever. There are premium currency, there are gems for Clash of Clans, there are, rubies, whatever you want to call them. At the end of the day, there are premium currency, they're great, and in my opinion, they're one of the best implemented premium currencies of any mobile game. However, of course, not everybody can afford them, and especially in the early 2010s. Z2 knew this, so what did they do? They gave people an option, more importantly the kids who were never going to spend money anyway, a chance to contribute to the game, and more importantly for them, get free nanopods. How you went about this is a beautiful company by the name of Tapjoy, which facilitated all of this, and they gave you the option to download other games, other free games, play them for 30 seconds to 2 minutes, log out, delete them, never touch them again, jump back into Battle Nations, and get free nanopods. Now keep in mind, the amount of nanopods you got, they were relatively decent. I was going to say small, but they weren't even small. Here's just, a random example, and this is from really way back in the day. If you couldn't tell by, the quality of the image and the apps it's promoting. But I mean, you got to think, you go through this list, you scroll a little bit more, you find a few more free kid game apps or a few more, apps that are just free in general. And, you're chilling, you're racking up a bunch of nanopods. And if you complete out the board, everything that's free, you could easily walk away with, a few hundred nanopods from just, a grind sesh of going through there. And man, let me tell you, as a kid, that was like part of the fun, honestly, just earning your nanopods, because you feel good after doing that, after downloading like 24 different games, you felt amazing. So anyway, point being, you downloaded all these games through Tapjoy. Tapjoy gave you various different offers. Some of them were connected to Burger King. I remember a lot of Burger King offers. Nevertheless, most of them were just downloading apps and sometimes watching a few videos. And that's how you got free nanopods. And I cannot find this for the life of me, but I swear on everything it's true. And I bet some other OGs can back me up on this, even though I cannot find an image of it. In the free nanopods tab, it gave you two options. It gave you a link to Tapjoy, and didn't actually say, Tapjoy or anything like that. It just said, like, survey to nanopods or free nanopods through, missions or something like that. And then the other tab literally just said, watch a video for nanopod or nanopod for video, or, basically conveying that with a nanopod and a play button on it. And if you click that, it auto-played you an ad. And after the ad completed, it gave you a singular free nanopod. And again, I swear this existed. Like, I know I'm not making this up. And I just cannot find a single freaking image of it. And it really annoys me, because obviously, there are things that are hard to find in this game. There's a whole bunch of stuff that isn't even on the wiki, and you can only really prove exists through old YouTube videos. But man, does that grind my gears that I cannot find the free nanopods for a video. But nevertheless, that was also an option. So that wasn't connected to Tapjoy. That was a sponsorship part, not sponsorship, but a partnership Z2 had with a few advertisers to show their ads in game to get paid directly for them. So that's pretty much the entire history of free nanopods in Battle Nations. It initially just funded as a way for kids to get free nanopods, and adults who just, didn't have the money to spend on a mobile game, to be able to still get some of the premium currency, to still be able to have fun and still be able to have a good time. So, how could it come back today? Well, first things first, they could just re-implement the old system. I think it would be amazing if we could get something like Tapjoy or even Tapjoy themselves. Tapjoy is still running today. They were bought out. However, they as a entity, I don't mean like they were bought out and then, absorbed and then, Tapjoy went away. I mean Tapjoy itself is still around, which is freaking awesome. So theoretically, Madrona Games partner up with Tapjoy, but if not, there are dozens, and I mean dozens of different companies that do this nowadays. Pretty much it was only Tapjoy back in the day. They had kind of a stranglehold on the industry, because I remember back in like early 2010s, if a mobile game was willing to give you some of its currency for free, it was always going to do it through Tapjoy. I swear, like every single mobile game that gave you free premium currency always did it through Tapjoy. They had a domination on that market. But nevertheless, a whole bunch of companies do it now. Thankfully, there's more competition, so there's probably better rates as well. So if Madrona Games doesn't want to work with Tapjoy for whatever reason, perfectly fine. I would recommend them, partnering up with somebody else, looking through their options and picking, whoever gives them the best rate, honestly. As far as the videos, I'll be honest, I don't know the exact complications of it. What I can say with confidence is I know for a fact Madrona Games could do this, only because I have seen much less competent and much smaller teams do this. And I know for a fact if Madrona Games wanted it, they could easily set up a video for, watch an ad for a nanopod in Battle Nations. Now, we do have to address the elephant in the room here, and that is this. The number one thing that determines whether or not a game wants to give out its premium currency for free is whether or not it'll increase its profit margin. And look, that's nothing against, Madrona Games. That's nothing against, any game that offers its premium currency or doesn't. It's just a factor of life. At the end of the day, these guys want to make money like we all do. Perfectly understandable. Now, what they have to ask themselves is this. Are they going to make more money, talking to advertisers, talking to Tapjoy or a company like that, getting them to talk to advertisers, to get them, to get their games on Tapjoy, their services, get those advertisers to pay them, get you to play the game, and then finally they get paid officially by the advertiser. Then they can pay, the parent company, in this case Battle Nations, a portion of that money. All of that to say, if Z2 or Madrona Games, either one, had their way, well, I guess in this case it only works for Z2 since they're the only ones who have done this, you buy 100 nanopods or you earn 100 nanopods through Tapjoy. Easily Z2 would want you to buy the 100 nanopods versus earn them. Because, if you're buying them, every single cent besides, the Apple fee goes to Z2. However, if you do it through Tapjoy, a cut goes to Tapjoy. It's not that much money as it initially was, just paying it. So they're earning less. But the obvious, very much flip side to that is even to this day, and especially back in the early days, there were not a lot of paying players. A lot of players weren't premium players. They, used whatever they got from the game for free, but they weren't going to pay money into it. People didn't pay money commonly for free mobile games. That was genuinely seen as weird back in the day. Man, what Supercell has done to the market. But nevertheless, all of that to say is they made the calculation. They would get more money giving people the chance to earn their premium currency for free, and they took it. And most games back then took it. However, more and more games started to not allow that, and now I would say it's like the uncommon, even like to an extent rare practice of most games, because most games now prey and bang on the calculation that they can give you nothing and eventually get you hooked on their game to where you'll pay them for something. And that's unfortunate. It really is, because I love the concept of earning a premium currency for free, especially the way Battle Nations did it. But you really have to sit here and ask yourself, is it the smart financial decision? And I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys. I want Madrona Games to do whatever best for the company. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but if that means limiting free nanopods to like only tournaments, only mission requests, only ways within the game that, they can regulate and, control, fine. Like, actually, okay. Because let's be honest, the Z2 model and also that sellout, it's what killed the initial Battle Nations. And there's a lot more to go into what killed Battle Nations. We've beat this dead horse for a while, and there's still a little bit to examine here, but we're not going to do it in this video. This video is focusing on nanopods, not the death of Z2. We'll hit that once we get there. But nevertheless, it really is just, honestly, I don't think it's as economically viable as it was in 2011. I think the calculation here is most people will pay for the currency. And that goes to say, you know, if you're somebody who's bought a large amount of nanopods right now, would you be happy if they implemented it for free? Let me know, of course, any comments from any perspective you guys have down below. I would love to get your guys' opinion on this. As for me, I want free nanopods. I would love for it and that watch a video for a nanopod to come back because I know it existed. But at the end of the day, above even that, above everything else, I want Madrona Games to do what's going to keep this game alive. I don't want to have to go through what we all went through in 2016. So if that means not allowing free nanopods, I'm perfectly fine with that. I just want to throw this video out here discussing the idea of, you know, bringing back watching an ad for a nanopod or downloading apps again. And then the new stuff, you know, what if we have surveys for nanopods? A lot of companies do that now because surveys pay more. So perfectly fine if we could do that. I wouldn't mind taking a few surveys for a few free nanopods. Of course, we could talk about tournaments, but I wouldn't really classify that because, you know, tournaments and in-game challenges, you know, they're fun and they're definitely community experiences that keep us all active, but that isn't producing money for Madrona Games. When talking about this action, you know, I want to do something that at the end of the day is going to benefit the company. Even if it is less of a payday than if you had just straight up bought it from them, you watching an ad or you downloading another app for Tapjoy is at the end of the day still giving some money, well, it was to Z2, but if Madrona Games did it today, it would be paying them. So again, want them to make the calculation that's going to keep Battle Nations alive, but for me personally, I would freaking love for that to come back, especially watch an ad, because I would sit there for hours just waiting until that thing grayed out. And if it never grayed out, hell, I would sit there forever just watching 30-second ad after 30-second ad for one nanopod each and just let them rack up. Here's how many nanopods you would have. And this is assuming I stayed up for 24 hours just watching it, but man, I would do that for a stream. Watching ads for nanopods 24 hours straight, that would be amazing. But nevertheless, I'm just rambling now. Just wanted to make this quick little video discussing free nanopods. Of course, let me know your own ideas for free nanopods down below. Do you like the concept? Do you want to see it return? Do you not want to see it return? How would you like to earn free nanopods personally? Would you like to watch a video, download other free ads, do surveys? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear it. With all that being said, guys, that will just about do it for us today. Wanted to make this video because I just had it in my noodle. Love free nanopods and personally would love to see them back. But at the end of the day, if I can freaking speak, at the end of the day, I want Madrona Games to do what's going to be best for the company and most importantly, best for Battle Nations. And if that means not bringing it back, perfectly fine with me. But of course, what do you guys think? That's the most important thing down below. Guys, if you're still watching this delusional rant on free nanopods because I love this premium currency and want to get more free nanopods, thank you very much for listening to it all the way through. I greatly appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider dropping a like down below and subscribing to the channel if you are new. If you have any questions, suggestions, Battle Nations recommendations, anything like that, please consider dropping a comment down below. If you need a guild in Battle Nations, we got one down below. It's called the Empire. And if you already got a guild, might I also recommend still joining it because we are having a base design competition for 750 subscribers. We are still taking commissions down there. All you got to do is drop in, post a picture of your base, and you can win. So yeah, with all that being said, that will actually do it for us today, guys. Guys, thank you very much for watching. And as always, have a great rest of your day.